Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Me and my crafty friends have decided to do some challenges and this is one of them, being the casing a card into a box card. So you probably will remember this card that I made using all sorts of items from Fawn, and I decided to make this card into a box. So I'm showing here everything that I'm using. I'm again using these 3 stamp sets where there are different mice in, and I will also use these clouds from my favorite things, because instead of the grass I will be using some clouds in my box. And then of course there is a scalloped box from Fawn. So I have started with die cutting everything. So 2 pieces for the box, and then I will make several dimensions into this box, so therefore I have these 2 pieces. And then of course I will add some clouds, so I just die cut some clouds already, not really measuring the width of everything, except this one is a special one, so I die cut a small part of the box once more, and I also use that cloud die, and this way I have that scalloped edge and it will align perfectly. But that's for later. Now I will start with blending everything. As in my first card that I made, I am using chipped sapphire, seedless preserves and mild lavender. So onto these clouds I am just bringing a bit of color onto the edges, and then I will splatter with some seedless preserves. And next up I will start blending the box. So therefore I am creating that night sky once more using the chipped sapphire and the seedless preserves, and I just keep blending until I am happy with the result. And when everything is blended I will also be adding some liquid stardust from Fawn and of course some water splatters as well. But for this part where I'm blending this whole box, I will be putting on some music, and I will be back after all the blending is done. I plan to leave the back of my box white just to keep the surprise for the inside, but I realized that I had two smudges on one of my panels for this box. So I just took the mild lavender and I blended it all over the backs of my box so that the smudges would be covered a bit or wouldn't stand out that much as they did without any blending. So I'm just adding that mild lavender once more. This way I refer back to my clouds that are inside the box, and it's still a really soft color, but I'm not doing any fancy blending, I'm just covering it completely. Now my blending is completely finished and I can start with the coloring. So I stamped out these images from the Fawn sets. I will list everything down below from the supplies, and I started coloring. I used sort of the same colors as in my first card, but of course I changed a bit of the colors, not that much. And aside from this stamped images with Gina K Amalgam ink, I also stamped out lots more stars because of course this is a really starry scene and I needed a lot of them, but that would be too much repetition for this video, so I did it aside, and I will be using them when I am assembling everything. But the colors of my stars that I colored aside of this video are the same as what you can see here. Having everything colored in brings me to die cutting all the images, so therefore I'm using the matching dies, and then I can start assembling everything. So first of all, I am going to stamp out my sentiment, and therefore I had this piece that I die cut, and I am deciding which sentiment I will use. I am changing it up a bit. When you look at my first card, it was "You are a superstar," and now I am saying "I thank my lucky star." So as I was playing around with the placement of my sentiment, it's always something that I am struggling with. I have an idea and I want to incorporate a sentiment, but it's really hard for me to imagine how the sentiment should look. So in the end, I decided to take it into a straight line and just add it all behind each other. And I'm really happy that I did that. But you only know until the end, of course. So all these challenges that I'm doing with my crafty friends, it's truly because with the situation going on, I am really out of my zone. I normally have lots of ideas and I cannot wait to start crafting, and now I am really struggling with energy, with ideas. Just going to my desk after working, because I am privileged that I can work still at the moment. I don't know how long it will be, but I'm working from home, and I hope that I will be doing that for the rest that it will be needed, but you never know. So I'm really exhausted by not seeing anyone, lacking that social contact. So me and my crafty friends decided to just give each other a bunch of challenges, and whatever each one was comfortable with could do it, but no one was obliged to participate on each challenge. So we have a lot of them coming, so be prepared. I really like that, and actually it's because of that that I started again and I'm really grateful for that. So what you saw here was that I was trimming down the clouds that I have die cut to the perfect size of all the pieces where it was going onto, being the back of this box and on my inserts for my dimension. So I'm using some liquid glue to adhere it, and also my permanent print adhesive ruler. So having that done, it's time to help the creasing a bit more. So I'm just scoring it so that I can easily assemble everything, and I can just curve it where it should be curved without damaging anything of my box. And afterwards I can start with assembling everything. So for the assembly, I really like using some score tape for the box itself, because in my opinion that's really sturdy, and of course liquid glue is that as well, and some Brit roller also, but it's not always that sturdy immediately as I would want it to. So I prefer using that score tape, and where my score tape is lacking in size, I will add some liquid glue to help the adhesive. So I'm just gluing them together, and then before closing my box, I will first add all the inserts. I call it inserts, just the pieces where I can create dimension with. These are my inserts. So I'm adding them, releasing one side of my backings of the score tape, and then I will just fold over the whole box, and this way it will be adhered to the other side as well, but you will see that in a few seconds. And now you can take off that release paper from the other side and fold that whole box down, and then you are sure that your inserts will be aligned straight, and that's really important to me. So here I wanted that flap to be behind my cloud, so I just lifted it up a bit. That was in advance of using the liquid glue, and now I'm just pressing it down really firmly, but apparently I forgot to press it down enough, and I did it once more, and now everything was stuck there where it should be, and this is my box to start with. So it's the first time that I'm recording making a box, so I'm trying to give you all a good angle in seeing where my images are going and so, but if it's not that visible, I'm really sorry for that. Still figuring out some of the dimensional cards that I'm making while recording it, but now I'm just adding my images as I go using my liquid glue, and I am helping myself using these reverse tweezers to get everything stuck there. So I'm just adding these mice. They are so adorable. I'm hoping that Fawn will be bringing out lots more stamps with all these mice because they are amazing. When I'm making a box card, I really like adding different elements on each segment of it so that I can immediately see dimension starting to unfold, and I really like that. So I'm adding all these images that I colored. As you can see here, there are lots more stars than I've shown in the beginning of the video, but all in the same colors. So because I'm working with stars, I really like the idea of having them float into the air. So therefore I took some acetate and I'm just cutting out some strips of it. Here, that floating star, that shooting star, as I should say, I really wanted it to not be adhered to those rays, but a bit apart from each other, and this way I created that, and I just needed another piece of acetate to put behind my star, and this way this shooting star could be floating in the air, or shooting in the air. I'm always saying floating. It's probably not the right word choice, but you know what I mean. So here I am adhering it, and I decided to keep the acetate quite wide because I really wanted it to be sturdy, and because it is a quite large image to keep up, I just decided to take this size to help. And now I am cutting out smaller pieces of acetate just to get some of those smaller stars also up in the sky. To decorate the two sides, I decided to take the Meadow backdrop portrait and cut out a few of these cloudy forms out of some square pieces of Neenah. And I decided to blend a bit of that mild lavender on this, as well as doing a bit of splattering, just as I did my clouds from before. And then I could also add some items on the side flaps. And after everything is decorated, this box is finished. So one of the challenges are done by making this card. I'm really hoping that you like this design as well. Actually, I am thinking of making some other sort of cards using the same design, but each time changing it up a little bit. For example, it would also be nice to use the magic iris and create some sort of card like this. But I'm not sure whether I'm going to make it. But actually, you could really do that if you like a design. Just switch it up, do another sort of card, and just look at what changes you should do to make it work as well. So yeah, I really like how this turned out, and I'm hoping that you like it too. You can always let me know which card you preferred, my magic picture changer or this box. They are so different both, and in the end they are also just the same. So I am really excited about this. I also really like this challenge, and I'm hoping to be able to show you much more challenge cards in the future. I'm hoping that my inspiration will come back, that my creative juices will start flowing again, and that this situation will be hopefully over soon. But for now, I'm hoping that you all are safe and your family take care of each other, but really think and keep yourself and your family and the people around you in a safe environment. So I'm hoping that you all are doing well. I'm really glad that you all stopped by. I appreciate it a lot, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!